All right, days 17 to 21. Yep. Of our 31 days of tarot 2022. I'm gonna say 2021 one of these times, I know it. So let's get right into it. I did not heed my own advice last time and film immediately following the last video I filmed, and now I'm crammed, so that's where we're at. But at least I don't have an annoying necklace clacking with my microphone this time, so good news there. All right, day 17. What is your go-to tarot book and why? So I tend to switch around. I like using the books that come with a deck. So I like to get to know the deck by referring to that book when I'm using that specific deck. So I do, if I had to answer this question properly, I would say I use a plethora of books that come with the tarot cards. But this book, the Tarot Bible, it was my go-to for a very long time, back in the beginning when I was first learning. What I like about it, so it's color-coded on the sides. I don't know if that's easy to see or not, but there is a big section in it. So it's color-coded by, like it's got like an intro, then it's got getting to know, drawing and choosing, shuffling, what to ask. Then it's got your major arcana, your minor arcana, and then a huge thing of spreads. And the spreads are also color coordinated by everyday spreads. So that's like your orangey brown. Then it goes to blue, which is relationship spreads. Then it goes to orange, which is revelation spreads. And then yellow, which is destiny spreads. And then there is developing skills and knowledge. So I'm just going to take this chunk right here. So this middle chunk that I'm holding on to on the book, that's all spreads. All of these pages are spreads. Crazy. I love that about this book. And then not to mention the plethora of information. So just to also compare, since we're doing the color comparing, this like purple section is the major arcana and the green section is the minor arcana. So that's how much information is in this book, and it's really handy. I really like it. It gives you, so we're just going to take a look randomly at a 5 of Cups, keywords, key phrases, and then interpretation. So it doesn't give, it talks about reversals in the beginning of the book, but it doesn't give a reversed meaning. That's the only thing. So if that's something that's important to you, it doesn't have that in here. So that's all, the one bad thing I would say about this book. But for the most part, Tarot Bible by, who are we by? Sarah Bartlett. Highly recommend this one. It's probably my favorite tarot book that I own, and I have quite a few. My first one, I'll show you while we're on the topic. The Only Tarot Book You'll Ever Need. This is the first tarot book I bought. I was so excited because the title clearly said the only tarot book I'll ever need. So I'm like, well, I'm not gonna need to buy anything else. I fall for gimmicks in case it's not obvious. I've hardly looked at this book, to be honest. I have hardly looked at this book. I should probably revisit it because I'm sure it has great information. It was right when I first started and I felt a little overwhelmed. So anyway, so this book, just to flip, the King of Pentacles has like a small little write-up at the top and then an upright and reversed meaning. So it does have the reversals in here. Does it have spreads? She sure does. Not very many. Literally, oh my. Okay, there's a 1 card, a 2 card, a 3 card, 4 card, which is overcoming obstacles, traditional Celtic cross, and that's it. That's all the spreads it has. So not huge on the spreads, but that's okay, I guess. I mean, I like that the other one has it. I don't know. That was one of the selling features of the Tarot Bible, was how many spreads it had. All right, moving right along. Day 18, which tarot decks give you the most insight from the imagery and symbolism? Well, as much as I hate to admit it, the Rider-Waite-Smith, of course, this one's going to give you the symmetry. Oh gosh. Symbolism and imagery. Symmetry? Is that a word? Did I just make one up, or is that a word that means something else? Anyway, I'm not going to do a flip through of this one. Everybody knows what this deck looks like, but this is the deck that most people learn with. These are the images that you think of when you think of the tarot. So when you think of the death card, for example, this is typically the image you would think of. So this is my go-to if I'm struggling, if I can't remember the meaning of a card, like if I'm using a different deck where it's not like a Rider-Waite-Smith clone, I will pull up this deck and look at the card and be like, oh yeah, that's what it is. Another one, I'm not going to do a walkthrough of this one because this one is also very common, but it's the Lightseers Tarot. This one is really great for those intuitive hits and being able to tell a story with just looking at one card. Even you don't even have to look at the spread to see the story. You can do a one card pull and you can tell there's a lot going on in that photo of that card, and you can pull a lot from it. The next one, I love the stories told on these cards. It is the Dark Mansion Tarot. So this tarot deck doesn't even come with a guidebook. That's how relatively easy it is to interpret. They don't feel the need to include a guidebook with it because it is just so simple to tell what's going on based on the photos in the cards. I just think this deck is so cute. It's so adorable. I love the Tim Burton feel. Don't love the cardstock. I got the rose petal finish and it's a little bit sticky. The cards don't like slide. I have trouble grabbing one card. But I love the colors and I love the stories that get told in each card. I think they were right in not including a guidebook. I mean, a guidebook is always nice. I'm never gonna say, no, that deck shouldn't have a guidebook, but I understand why they don't have a guidebook because it is fairly straightforward when you're looking at these images. I don't think that any Taroteka Studio decks come with guidebooks. So maybe that's just a thing they say. Our images are so self-explanatory that we don't need a guidebook. I don't know. Anyway, so that is the Dark Mansion Tarot by Taroteka Studios. And I've always loved the images and the stories that get told in the cards. So I think that's a great one to kind of bounce off of the story that's being told on the images, the symbolism, what's happening, the interaction between the characters on the cards, the expressions, all that kind of stuff is great for symmetry. What did I say? Symbolism and imagery. Okay. Day 19. What tarot card do you look out for the most when you get a new deck and why? Oh, this is such a loaded question for me because there's lots. So initially, I would say what probably everybody else is going to say, and that's the Death card. So for some reason, the Death card is just one that stands out. I don't know that I would necessarily say that I specifically go looking for it, but when going through or when watching a flip through on YouTube, I do pay attention to it when it comes up. And I find that most of the time I like the Death card. It's not that I don't really ever dislike it, but there are some that just kind of evoke such an emotion that, I don't know, like the Mermaid Tarot. Once I saw that Death card, I was like, ooh, like I was like, that one got me in the feels. And I like when people can be creative. Like I definitely think the Lightseers Tarot, they got really creative with their Death card. So yeah, the death card is one that I probably pay attention to the most. However, there's more. There is the star card. That's usually my favorite card in the entire deck. So I pay attention to that one. I specifically look for that one. I also like when deck creators can be creative, especially with the 10 of Swords and the 3 of Swords. I really like to see different interpretations for that one. So yeah, oh, sometimes the devil though too. Sometimes I like to see what the devil looks like. That's another good one. I don't know. I like all of them. I look for all of them. So that's kind of the answer to that question. Oh, I guess I didn't answer why. I think the why would be because I think the death card can, it's one of those ones when you see it on the table, it's like, ooh, like everybody's always afraid of the death card, or that's the one card that people don't want to get. So I think if an artist or a creator can put a different spin on it, or can draw it in a way that doesn't evoke the same emotions that you get, like you might see the death card be put down, you're like, oh. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I just think that the death card is one of those ones that everyone's afraid of and they don't want to see it. So I like to see people's different spins on the death card and how different creators portray it, I guess. Okay, day 20? If you don't like a specific card in a deck, does it ruin the deck for you, and how? No. If I don't like a specific card, it doesn't ruin the deck for me. I think it would probably have to be a number of cards that I don't like. What that number is, I'm not really sure. Like, I'd say probably 5 or more. If there's 5 or more cards in a deck that I really don't like, I won't get it. Yeah, going through the, like, before I buy any deck, I always watch the YouTube walkthroughs, and I mean, I don't keep a tally in my head. It's not like I'm sitting there like, oh, that's one card I don't like, that's another card I don't like. But if it kind of just gets to this point where I'm like, you know what? And I would say that's probably around 4 to 5 cards. If I see 4 to 5 cards where I'm like, that'll probably do it for me. And as far as the how, I'm not quite sure how to answer the how. The only thing I could maybe think to describe that would be like, if you're talking about dating boys or whatever and they give you the ick, like I feel like if I have a card that gives me the ick, I'm not going to want to use it. You know, and every time all those cards are laid down, like if I have a spread, there's 3 or 4 cards in a deck that I don't like, and all 3 of them come up in a spread, I'm never going to want to use that deck again. So I think you really, it's a fine line. It's a fine line between how many cards are okay to dislike versus how many cards are okay to like, I guess. I don't know. It depends on how much I dislike them too. This is a crazy question because it's, you know, I might not have that strong of a dislike for it, but it's just like not my favorite. Then I don't really care. Then it doesn't affect me at all. I'll probably still buy the deck, even if there's 5 of them. As long as it's not like a very strong, like, oh, I don't like that card. I tried to come up with some examples, some specific examples to show you, and I kind of really couldn't. I'm pretty easygoing. It's usually the style or the aesthetic of a deck that I don't like, and then I wouldn't buy it anyway. So it's not usually specific cards. Even the death card in the Wild Unknown Tarot, I know a lot of people really dislike that one, but I don't. I think it's a decent representation of death and rebirth. So, I don't know. It's kind of an odd question. It's kind of an odd answer, maybe. All right, and our last day for this video is day 21. Do you read with reversals? Why or why not? So I've mentioned this many times in my last few videos that I just recently learned reversals. I took my Tarot Level 2 course in November of 2021, and it was strictly on reversals. So I wasn't planning on doing that because I wasn't planning on reading with reversals at all, ever. But I kind of wanted to continue with the progression of my tarot course, and level 2 was reversals. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I should learn this. And then at least I can decide for myself if I do or do not want to work with reversals and I can decide why. Whereas before, I kind of didn't really know why. The main reason I had for not working with reversals before was that I don't like how cards look upside down. Aesthetically, that drives me nuts. I don't want cards to be upside down. I will have to fight the urge to slide them back around. And someone in my tarot course, they did have a good solution for that. Just like if a card comes up reversed, turn it back around, but put like a little crystal or something on it to indicate that that was a reversed card. So that's an idea too. There's also some people who use reversals with some decks and then not with others. I think that's probably in the long run what I will end up doing. I like the thought of working with reversals. I'm still very new to it. I'm still learning it. But I do think that there will probably be some decks, I think this deck will be one of them, where I do work with reversals because I don't like the images on this deck anyway. I don't like the art style. I don't like the color. I don't like the lines. So who cares if it's upside down? What does it matter if it's upside down? So I'll probably work with reversals with that deck. My Tarot of Oppositions deck, obviously I'll work with reversals with that one. If I end up purchasing the 5-cent tarot, definitely work with reversals with that one. So this question's kind of a little off for me because I'm still learning. I'm still trying to decide if that's something I want to permanently incorporate into my practice. So check in with me like a year from now maybe, or I'll check in with you like a year from now and let you know how my tarot reversal journey is going. Okay, so that's it for this video. Next one will be days 22 to 26. And then after that, it'll be 27 to 31 and then we're done. So after this video, there's only 2 more. So yeah, I hope you enjoy your day. Thank you for spending this time with me and I'll see you in 5 more days for the next 5 days.